Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show. Today we're going to make kale chips. This recipe I created after finding a brand of kale chips at Whole Foods that is really delicious. They're flavored and you can get all kinds of different flavors there, but I figured, well, why not? Let's just try to make them. So I know a lot of you out there are just getting started on your plant-based journey, and everyone says to eat kale, eat more kale. But some people really struggle with kale because it's really strong flavored. But this recipe is a way for you to get over your fear of kale, because this is delicious and crunchy and it takes away some of the bitterness of the kale. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to make our sauce first that's going to go onto the kale. So I've got a cup of sunflower seeds, 1 carrot that's just chopped up, 1/4 cup of tahini, some nutritional yeast, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 3 medjool dates that are already pitted, 1½ cups of water, 1 tablespoon of onion powder. That's where a lot of the delicious flavor comes from, is this onion powder. 2 tablespoons of Bragg's apple cider vinegar. It doesn't need to be Bragg's, but just apple cider vinegar. I just like Bragg's because a lot of the mother is still in there, which is the healthy part of the vinegar. And that's why it looks kind of cloudy. If you get just the regular kind from the grocery store, sometimes it's really clear. So it means there's not a lot of the mother yet in the vinegar. It's been filtered out. So it's, you know, some of the nutrition is gone. And we're going to do 1 tablespoon of Bragg's liquid amino acids. And I will have the complete recipe on the website in the details below. And then I have 1 bag of already prepared kale. I would normally use 1 large bunch of organic kale, but I wanted to try something a little bit simpler to make it simpler for you. The only downfall is that they leave a lot of the big stalks in there. They just chop them up. They don't de-stalk them. So you might have to pull some of the big stalks off, because once it dries in the dehydrator, these get really, really hard. And when you crunch into that, it can almost break your teeth. It doesn't do that, but it's more pleasant if you just take the time to de-stem them. So I'm just going to blend this up until it's smooth. Okay, now it's blended up really smooth and creamy. We're just going to pour it over the kale, and we're just going to mix it in with our hands. You can do it with a spoon, but I find that it just kind of goes everywhere out of the bowl. So we're just going to pour it on there and mix it in. Just mix it with our hands. This is where you can get your kids involved, and I think if you get your kids involved in this part of the process, they're more likely to try them in the end, because they play a part in making this delicious food. And what I have here are 2 dehydrator trays, because we're going to dehydrate them until they're nice and crispy. You can use an oven. You just need to put it on the lowest setting, probably around 150 to 180 degrees. And then you're just going to have to watch, and put them on a cookie sheet with parchment paper. And you're just going to have to watch them after a few hours, check them and see, so that they don't burn. Because you really don't, you don't want to waste all this beautiful kale and burn them accidentally. So now we're just going to spread half on each sheet. We're just going to try to get it kind of evenly spread so that it has plenty of room to dry out without getting any super big clumps in there. Okay, that is as simple as it gets. So now I'm just going to put this in my dehydrator, And I have my dehydrator set on one of the lowest settings also, because when you dehydrate food, part of the reason for dehydrating it is to keep it as raw as possible. And if you dehydrate it below a certain temperature, then officially it's still a raw food. And most of the nutrients are still intact. There's a chalk I missed, or a big stalk I missed. And then I'm going to put it in for about 8 hours and then check it. So let's just take it to the dehydrator. Okay guys, here they are, kale chips. They are so yummy, you are not going to be able to put them down. I can't wait for you guys to try this one. See you next time.